regular board meeting to order. Can I get roll call, please?
Sure. Mrs. Gleason?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mrs. Camworth here. Mrs. List? Here. Mrs. Stearns? Here. Mr. Whitcomb?
Here.
Mrs. Ressler?
Here. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to item 2, board minute approval. Can I get a motion to approve the October 19th, 2021 regular meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. List. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. List?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth abstain. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Abstain. I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong meeting. Aye.
Okay.
Item 2.2, the November 9th, can I get a motion to approve the November 9th, 2021 Committee of the Whole and closed meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Camworth. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Abstain.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
That one I will abstain.
Okay.
All right, moving on to comments from the public. Do we have any public comments? All right, if there are no public comments, we will move on to the superintendent report. Dr. Sikora.
Thank you, Mrs. Dressler. D228 Cares, the Ronald McDonald House of Oak Lawn is looking for people to donate care packages to their families in District 228. Is assisting with this effort by collecting items through November. Items needed are travel-sized toothpaste, mouthwash, lotion, shampoo, Kleenex, hand sanitizer, as well as bottled water, puzzle books, magazines, hair ties, and single-serve snacks, juices, and gum. If you're interested in donating, please reach out to myself or Jamie, and we will make sure that we get those items collected for you. On November 4th and 5th, district administration from each of our buildings attended the conference hosted by the Superintendent's Commission for the Study of Demographics and Diversity, of which I'm a part. There were up to 18 different panels for each of the 3 sessions held each day, a variety of keynote speakers. Attendees included all school personnel from secretaries to superintendents. We had each campus represented. Attendees also earned PD credit for attending. Thank you for those administrators who are a part of that as well to bring back to our buildings. The District 228 Board of Education, myself, participated in a self-evaluation with the IASB on September 28th. From that session, procedures and expectations between the board and the superintendent were established and or reaffirmed. These will be added as an exhibit under Board Policy 2:170. If there are no objections, provided a hard copy for you as well, referenced throughout the school year, but we will attach that to that as an exhibit if everyone's in agreement. And finally, and maybe most importantly, giving a lot of respect for what our Board of Education members do. It's a volunteer basis. They put in a lot of time, effort to make sure that our business functions properly. So November 15th was School Board Members Day in Illinois. On behalf of the entire District 228 community, on behalf of our entire staff and community, I'd like to thank our board members for your service. And Jamie has a few words she'd like to say and a token of our appreciation.
Yes. So as Dr. Sikora was saying, November 15th is recognized as School Board Members. So School Board Members Day, excuse me. So tonight we'd like to celebrate our District 228 School Board members. The balance required to meet a mission of providing quality education opportunities for every student while ensuring the health and safety of children, staff, and community members is truly a monumental task. The importance of a dedicated quality leadership team that is able to be flexible and adapt to ever-changing conditions and guidelines while still meeting the district's goals is imperative. It takes a collective group effort with everyone pulling in the same direction. At District 228, we are lucky to have a wonderful group of board members dedicated to our district and making it the best it possibly can be. Thank you to our 7 amazing District 228 school board members for your service and the inspiration and leadership that you provide us. Thank you.
So
So we've got little goodies for you. We also have some goodie bags from ARC for you as well. That's our architectural company. And those will be great for you during the conference this weekend as well. Gotta make sure I give everything to the right people.
Thank you.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who goes on.
So you have 2 bags for yourself.
Oh, 2 bags.
All right, thank you.
Another quick hand for our board members and your service.
Okay, moving on to item 4.2, our principal's report.
Hey, welcome this evening. Just a little bit of information about Oak Forest High School. Our Oak Forest High School students recently performed the fall play, which was titled The Birds. And congratulations to all of those actors and our new play director, Ed Christozik. Our magical choir is warming up their vocal cords for several magical performances over the next month. I'd also like to congratulate Maggie Garner, Mayweather Shorter, Madison Edge, Brendan Infanti, Destiny Skalenik, Ryan Canjo, Stephen Bikey, and Danny Larson, who were all selected to participate in the ILMEA Festival coming up here in November. We have 3 standout athletes to congratulate from Oak Forest High School. Isabel Earle on her state appearance in swim this past Friday, and congratulations on her performance in the pool. We had Carter Boger won the world championship by representing the United States of America in the junior co-ed cheer team. And then Robbie Avila right here in our IMC last week committed to Indiana State University for basketball. So it's great to see all of our students sharing their talents both on the athletic courts and through their activities. So just a little bit of good news here at Oak Forest High School with our students. So next I'm going to pass the baton to, don't crush me. Right up there.
Looked indecisive, I wanted to bail you out.
Looking for a volunteer.
Good evening. I'd like to give you some information from the world of Hillcrest. So this quarter we celebrated, well actually last month, at the end of last month, we celebrated the first quarter Student and Teachers Choice Awards. That is, the community nomination process is utilized to pay homage to your teacher if you're a student and vice versa. So we had those awards. Also, we had our Freshman Academy Awards Assembly. We are piloting a Freshman Academy this year, and so the reinforcements of positive behavior is really one of the focuses, or one of the foci in that program and that approach that we have toward the Freshman Academy. For some post-secondary preparation, we had FAFSA and fajitas for parents. We had 60 parents come. You know, you try to throw the bait in the water to see what you can get. Fajitas really work, y'all. Fajitas really work. We had 60 parents turn out, and so we had a really good turnout, which is a good segue to college acceptances. We've had dozens within the past month, and we have a culture of trying to really heighten that presence. And then we have 11 early graduates. So we have a ceremony coming up in which they'll have a presentation and we'll feed them lunch. But we have 11 students who qualify for early graduation. We're excited, we're promoting that, the earlier the better. And also a capstone activity within that process is to tell us, what are you doing with that semester that you earned back, right? Because you know, the idle mind is a devil's playground, so we want to make sure they have their minds occupied and they're focused on their post-secondary plan. And then last but not least, on Thursday during 8th period, we're having our faculty and staff basketball game, in which I've copped out, right? So the students, it was a lot of pressure. Mr. Alexander, you gonna play? You gonna play? Like, I might. So I've been relegated to being a referee, so I'm gonna call a lot of fouls, you know, and we're gonna win that game. So that's the news. That's the latest out of Hillcrest. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. From Bremen High School, I'm filling in for Dr. Kabelkis tonight. We're very excited to have our annual food drive back for the first time since pre-pandemic. This has been going on since 1985. So our NHS and Student Council students were very excited to get back to the traditional way that we do that collection by delivering bags and then going out and collecting them. So if you see our kids on the streets of Midlothian and Posen in their neon vests, that's what they're wearing. The kids are just really excited to get kind of that sense of normalcy back as well. We had 35 kids recently participate in a Chick-fil-A leadership program that's being led by two business teachers, Todd Strine and Virgil Harris. This is going to be an ongoing program in partnership with our local Chick-fil-A in Crestwood. So we're really excited for that because it is targeting some of our non-traditional leaders and getting those kids to come out that might not be our NHS or Student Council kids and get them involved to grow as leaders. We also just hosted a really fun collaborative effort between our Bremen District Television channel and culinary classes. We had a Cupcake Wars. So if you're watching our social media, there's going to be a great show airing very soon. The students, Dr. Sikora was a judge, myself, and our athletic director, Mr. Washington, and it was just really impressive to see how professional the students were running the program behind the scenes, from our culinary kids to our TV production kids kind of executing that. They really led the way, which was awesome to see. So yeah, that's the news out of Bremen High School.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for having me again from Delta Academy. Since we last saw each other, we have had 3 new graduates in November alone. Ala Abdallah of Tinley Park High School, Joey Thelman of Oak Forest High School, and Lizzie Mainza from Oak Park High School as well, which puts us at 13 graduates so far this semester in total. We're also excited that we have 6 students currently who are within 3 classes of graduating, and we have 5 students who are within 6 classes of graduating. So we do anticipate that in December, much like we did last month, we'll be having another board ceremony and a pre-ceremony for the parents to come in and see their students off, have a mini graduation ceremony. We had really great feedback from the last time that we had parents come in. And finally, we're very excited to host our first annual South Suburban College Fair tomorrow. We partnered up with Dr. Beaslin from the Oak Forest campus, Dr. Helwig, and Dr. Sharif. We are going to offer 8 different programs from South Suburban who are going to come and speak to our students tomorrow. And then afterwards, we have a follow-up session with people from admissions who are actually going to come and work with our students one-on-one to get them signed up for South Suburban if they're interested. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, on behalf of the Titans, this Friday, we're going to have our first ever all-school academic celebration, where students who are passing all of their classes just get the hour at the end of the day to come down to our athletic area. There'll be food, music, basketball, bean bags, giant Jenga, all of these things at the end on Friday. So if they're passing all their classes, they get to come down for 8th period and partake. It was interesting because we were trying to arrange, okay, how much food do we need, how many snacks and things like that. We ran the list last week and it was under 900 of our 1,100 students. So it's a lot of snacks, which I'm very happy to provide that many snacks. And the cutoff is tomorrow, so we're hoping that's even a higher number than that. Last Thursday, November 4th, was our NHS induction. Thank you, Mrs. List, for joining us at Tinley Park High School. So nice to be back and have our formal ceremony in the gym with the stage and the candles. There was this one little moment where the executive officer sitting up on stage, Mrs. Bumpus said, "Hey, do you guys remember this?" when all of the new inductees were sitting out on the gym floor, and she just turned around and said, "No, we were virtual." So it was just so nice that, you know, there's so many nice things just to be back, back in school and back to some normalcy. So speaking about being back, we too had our first weekend of our play. Our drama director, Melissa Henneth, put on Clue, which was well attended and well appreciated. We had 4 participants at the IHSA swim state meet. These 4 girls not only participated, but were part of breaking 16 school records this year. And they're all nice and young, including one of them is a freshman, so I'm sure you'll be hearing about them as the time goes on. And our dance team over at Andrew across town took first place in the Andrew Invite. We like to take first place from our neighbors any day of the week. And finally, on November 5th, and I know I said at the last board meeting, we had our International Fest, and I'm gonna kind of like leave it as a cliffhanger here because I have asked them to come to the board meeting at Tinley in December. I don't think I could give enough words to do it justice, what happened that evening in our cafeteria and in our gym. Just such a celebration of the diversity that we have, the Titan culture, the Titan spirit, and like I said, they'll do a much better job explaining it and showing it when you guys come to our house in December. So a little bit of news on behalf of the Titans.
Great, thank you to all the principals. Our next item is our 4.3, the FOIA request.
Thank you, Mrs. Ressler. Freedom of Information Act request. Since the last regular board meeting, we received the following requests. Bernadette Soto, Chicago Regional Council of Carpenters, requested executed contracts between Bremen District 228, Hodge Pro, The Lock People, and Vortex Commercial Flooring for FY 2020. Any correspondence such as emails, submittals, certified payroll, and payout requests, any documents disclosing and or identifying general contractors, subcontractors, and a list of schools that were list of the schools the work was performed at for the FY requested. This request has been completed. Vince Espy from Local Labs requested any contracts and documents relating to business with Panorama Education. This request has been completed. Marcel Kentry, 8 South 7 North, requested electronic copies of the most recent transportation, RFP, and beverage, milk, water, juice, RFP documents. This request has been completed. Zoe Yalcine, Smart Procure, requested all purchasing records from 7/8/21 to current to include purchase order, purchase date, line item details including quantity and price, vendor ID number, name, address, and contact information. This request has been completed. And finally, Cass T. Casper from Disparity Law Group requested complete staffing records for Bremen High School for the year 2021 and complete records for all employees of Bremen High School who were terminated, resigned, or otherwise left employment since May of 2021, including termination records, investigative files, notices of resignation, notice of retirement, notices of termination, and all like and related documents. This request has been completed. That is all for FOIA requests, Ms. Russell.
Thank you very much. Any board member reports? All right, moving on to item 5, new business. Ms. Morrison, item 5.1.
Item 5.1 is our bills, addendum to bills, payroll, and CDS bills. These items have been reviewed and are being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Item 5.2 is our FY 22 property tax relief grant application totaling $3,330,148. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Item 5.3 is the FY 23 minibus lease extension with Midwest Transit Equipment. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Camworth, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Item 5.4 is the intent to purchase the additional District 228 vehicle through the Sourcewell Cooperative. This item is being recommended for full board approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye. Item 5.5, Dr. Williams.
Thank you, Mrs. Ressler. Item 5.5 is the calendar change for this school year. It's being recommended for the full board for approval.
So moved.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.
Item 5.6 are the curriculum handbook changes for the 22-23 school year as discussed at committee of the whole. These are being recommended for full board approval.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. List. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. List?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. Item 6, personnel recommendations, Dr. Goggins.
Under maternity leave, Jessica Bogage and Kelly Durkle. Under retirement, Jennifer Ambrose. Under resignation, Ed McDaniel, Anthony Giuseppe, Jerome Gillis, and Kayana Dennis. Under employment, Brian Cheever, Yolanda Douglas, Kari Marovka, David Muskus, Catherine Dabrisky, Jasmine McDonald, Patrick Gehant, Leah Fisher, Melissa Tyson, and Stephanie Blum. Under change in position, Sean Walsh. Also a recommendation to increase sub-pay from $105 to $120 per day. These are being recommended to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Mr. Whitcomb. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye. Moving on, can I get a motion to go to closed session to consider the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, 5 ILS 122, litigation 5 ILS 122, subsection C 11.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Whitcomb, second by Ms. Gleason. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Whitcomb?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. List?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Wrestler?
Aye.